Good afternoon, YouTube, and here is your fantasy forecast optimal cash lineups for Wednesday, March 2nd, as well as my own recommended cash lineup and a sample GPP lineup for tonight. I'm going to move right in. We're not going to look at my face. We're going podcast style because we don't have a lot of time. We have the Roto Grinders ideal optimal lineup for cash up today right now. They have Westbrook and Mack in the point guard position, Barton and Stevenson in shot guard, Antetokounmpo and Poco and Barnes in the small forward, Randolph and Portis at power forward, and for center they have Cousins. They are projecting this to score a 308 tonight. Okay, moving on, we're going to go to RotoWire. RotoWire is projecting us with Conley and Jennings in the point guard position. They have Batum and Redick in the shot guard, George and Porter in the small forward, Davis and Randolph in the power forward, and DeAndre Jordan in the center position. And RotoWire is projecting that to score 295 tonight. Third up, we're going to go to Fantasy Pros right now. Fantasy Pros has for us this right here. They have Jackson and Mack in the point guard position, Harden and Beal in the shot guard position, George and Harris in the small forward position, Cunningham and Davis in the power forward position, and Jefferson at center. They are projecting that at a 292. And finally, Daily Fantasy Cafe. I'll go ahead and pull them up now. DFS is running us with Westbrook and Mack in the point guard position, Barton and Levine in the shot guard position, Durant and Covington in the small forward, Morris and Turner at the power forward position, and center again DeAndre Jordan. And they are projecting that lineup at a 307. Okay, now let's go ahead and move on to my own cash lineup entry. And you can see them lined up right there. I've got two $5 entries along with a $1. So this is a straight up cash entry. I do have $1 in the SWAT tournament, but like I said, I do that just to compare against it. If you guys noticed yesterday, you could have actually won the $1 SWAT and lost on a $5 GPP. It was, or a 50-50. It was a kind of a crazy night. Anyways, moving on. Okay, so my actual lineup itself, we have Westbrook and Mack for point guard. Westbrook is a monster every night, and it's not supposed to be a blowout tonight. Over under around 222, so we can expect him to be on the floor doing his thing all night long, which is just perfect for a cash game. I'm rounding out with Sheldon Mack because at near minimum price, he's projected to easily hit 5 times value, which is what we need. And that's even against a tougher opponent. Alright, at shot guard I have Barton and Levine. Barton is playing the Lakers and plays almost starter minutes even coming off the bench, and with Gallo out is guaranteed to exceed his 6,000 value tonight. He'll be highly owned in cash games, and for really good reason. Levine is here because he has the price point for his scoring, but he also has the matchup that we would desire. He's running up against the Wizards. Gotta love it. At small forward, I have Durant and Barnes. If the Oklahoma City game stays close, I think that the Westbrook-Durant stack will not only win GPPs, but it will win cash games as well, which is why Durant is here. He doesn't need much explanation tonight. Barnes needs a bit, though, and while he's getting his minutes, the reason is because he's a great cash game play, is because his Kings opponent, and their super fast pace. I mean, not a lot of defense, and they just love to run up and down the court. A quicker game is going to mean more fantasy points all around. Alright, at power forward, I have Morris and I have Grant. Morris is by far the highest projected value on the FanDuel slate, and I like locking that guy in my cash lineups everywhere. He literally came in around 34 on my computers, which is more than 6 times value. Grant is the round out play, but oh my lord, he's going to go off again if Okafor sits out for one more game. Come on, Jaleel, rest that shin again. Alright, and at center we have DeAndre Jordan. I really don't need to say much here either when you consider the game is projected to be high scoring and close. He's got a great floor with some upside as well. Okay, and that's it for the cash lineup. Let's go on to the GPP lineup. Let's do it this way. Okay, for GPP, I have Paul and Mack at point guard. You won't find a lot of write-ups on Paul today, but that's the GPP point. and he's playing in a close game with Oklahoma City. I expect Paul could be the center of the Clipper universe today against Westy and Durant. Mac is the round-out play again because you definitely have to get value from your scrubs in a stars and scrubs lineup. The guys hit it before, and I've already spoken about him. Just look for minutes on your scrubs, guys, and you'll end up normally just fine on tournament lineups. At shot guard, I have Barton and Green. Barton, again, is just one of those no-brainer choices with Gallo out. I've already talked about him. Green is a bit more of the scrub play I've spoken of, but on the right night, he wildly exceeds value. The problem is that depending on him, it depends on him not getting in foul trouble and actually hitting a few of his shots if he's going to really exceed value. But this is a GPP, so I'm looking for ceilings more than I am floor guys. Okay, at small forward, I have Harris and Barnes. Harris has been doing great with Stan the Man Johnson out. He's picking up all kinds of court time, learning how his team works. The floor is steady at 25, and he has upside all the way to 40 if Detroit can find a way to keep up with the Spurs and not get shut down. All right, and I've already explained Barnes and Cashes too. At power forward, I have Davis and Morris. Davis doesn't need a reason today. That's another write-up that you guys have already heard a million times, but you have to make sure he plays. If he does, he should be just fine for a GPP barring an injury during the game, because the whole game time decision noons means he's likely to be lower owned than, a normal stud would. And Morris is another player I've already explained in cash. Oh, I don't have Morris here. I have Daryl Arthur here. Excuse me. It looks like at the last minute I pulled him out and I put Daryl Arthur in. And I can explain that for the reasons I've already told you before. He's playing the Lakers, and with Gallo out, Arthur's going to see a lot of time. So I pulled Arthur at the last second in this GPP, below Davis, and then I upgraded my center down there to Cousins. I used to have Howard because he had a nice opponent tonight against New Orleans, but believe me, when I'm going for a GPP, I would much rather have Cousins. This is a shock even to me to see that I made this lineup change at the last minute. All right, so there's your final GPP lineup. Chris Paul and Mack at point guard, Barton and Green at shot guard, Harris and Barnes at small forward, Davis and Arthur at power forward, and Cousins for center. And I'll go back to the cash recommended lineup of my own for today. Recommended cash lineup for today is Westbrook and Mack at point guard, Barton and Levine at shot guard, Durant and Barnes at small forward, Morris and Grant at power forward, and DeAndre Jordan for center. Thank you, guys. That's it. So for all your optimals, my recommended cash lineup, and a sample GPP, follow me on Twitter at MikeMiller78 for the latest news, injuries, and lineup updates, and subscribe here if you want notices on future videos. I hope you all are having a great day. Go out there and go win some more money, guys.